Hello and welcome to FUECP. So I got a comment from a viewer under the video I made, Audit Sampling Simplified, and the question said, could you please explain to me why high value items, why we don't use the PM for threshold and instead we're using the threshold of PM divided by the risk factor. Okay, so if you watched my video on practical approach to calculating sample size, I kind of went through how we determine the high value sample or the high value threshold when we are calculating our samples. Okay, so this question, the person is kind of asking me, why did I not use the performance materiality, which is PM, to determine my high value? So why did I do this calculation of PM divided by the risk factor? So the person wants to know why I used this formula. So in audit, when we are calculating your sample size, you don't just use your PM. Okay, so the PM does not automatically equals to your high value threshold. Okay, so you cannot just assume that your PM is the same as your high value. No. So there are different techniques or methods that you can use to determine your high value. Okay, one of such is what we call the risk-based or judgmental approach, okay, or professional judgment. So we call it the risk-based or professional judgment. Okay, and in this case, what you do is that you have to determine the risk level of the particular financial statement line item that you want to test. So for example, let's say we want to test cash and the audit team came up with the conclusion that cash is a low risk. Okay, so they have like 100% confidence in cash that there's no risk of material misstatement. Okay, so 100 divided by, so it's usually based on 100%, okay, divided by 100. So in this case, the risk base will be 1. So assuming our performance materiality, we already determined that our performance materiality is what? Is $50,000. Okay, so because we are using the risk-based approach, so we have 1 as our risk factor, which is called RF. Okay, so our risk factor, which is RF, is what? 1. Okay, so it's going to be divided by 1. So what do we have as our high value? So our high value is now 50,000. Okay, so 50,000, that's because we apply the risk factor of 1 to cash. So we assume that cash is not, there's no likelihood of material misstatement. But in another case, assume the audit team came to a conclusion that there's a moderate risk of material misstatement in cash. Okay, and then they're gonna do, so based on 100%, so we're gonna assign like 50% confidence level. Okay, so for moderate risk, so that was 50 year 1, here 2. So we are assigning a risk factor of 2. So remember, we are using the risk-based or professional judgment. So we are using our judgment based on the client's situation. So in that case, our risk factor is 2. And remember, we know that our PM was what? 50,000. And now we're applying a risk factor of what? 2. So that'll be 50,000 divided by 2. So our high value threshold in this case will now be 25,000. Okay, so in the first instance, we use 50,000 as our high value threshold because we believe that there was very low risk of material misstatement in cash. But in a situation whereby the audit team believed that there's moderate risk or medium risk, now our high value is 25. So when we are selecting our samples, any item or any transaction in the general ledger that is above 25,000 will be, that is 25,000 or above, will be selected in our audit testing. But in this case, any item over 50,000 will be selected. Okay, so the higher the risk factor, the lower the high value threshold. Okay, so let's look at another situation. In a case whereby the audit team determines that the risk is like very high, maybe because of the client situation. Maybe they operate in an industry whereby there's a lot of cash activities. We might assume that, okay, based on 100%, we have just let's say 30% confidence in cash. Okay, so we are believing that there's a likelihood of a high risk of material misstatement, so our confidence is just 30%. So if we do that, that will be about 3.3. So we can just ignore the 3 point and just say 3. Okay, so in this case our PM is still 50,000, and then now our risk factor is now 3. Okay, so in that case, by the time we multiply, so when we'll do the multiplication, we have a high value threshold of about 16,666. Okay, so that leads to what I said earlier, that once the risk factor is low, the high value threshold will be high, but the higher the risk factor, then the lower the high value. So in this case, because we have, there's a high risk of material misstatement in cash, that means any item that is above 16,000 would be selected in our sample testing. Okay, so back to the question. So the reason why I did not use the PM as my I value is because we need to apply the risk based or professional judgment. Okay, so you need to do that. So that's what I've done. I've divided my performance materiality over the risk factor. So you can see I just divide the PM divided by the risk factor. That will determine my high value threshold. Okay, so this is one way we determine our high value. So you don't just take your PM and automatically assume your PM is the same as the I value. You have to do a bit of calculation, and this is one method you can use, the risk-based or professional judgment. So I hope this helps to clarify the question. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.